So from a volume perspective, you have a handling of a pre-litigated or a litigated claim. So what you're doing is, in those scenarios, you have quite a detailed workflow, right, that goes through from receiving instruction to acknowledging the instruction to case file review. And on all the way through is you have to capture quite a lot of detail about the nature of the case. And when I say the nature of the case, it sounds simple. There could well be about 20 different checklists and tick boxes and goodness knows what else to actually identify it, because they're all very, very different down to nature of injury and all those sorts of areas. With that, then, you have this overlay, which is we are not just using Clyde & Co templates, we have to use client templates. So you have to then go through and think about, okay, when you've captured that data, how do you make sure the system knows that for that client, it's this template and it populates the right data into the right area of the template? And then is that particular client something where we can send that out directly, or we have to send it back to the client to check before it goes out? So you have this layer of how do Clyde & Co work? Then you have the layer out, because it's this type of insurance case, there's these sorts of workflows and data, and then you have this client overlay over the top. And that complexity means if you're not careful, almost for every client, you've got different ways of working. So what we've been trying to do in the Visualfile system now is you've got this sort of core workflow and data capture that sits the way through it, with where we can have core templates, we do, with an overlay then of each individual insurance pillar, with then another overlay of the clients. And that's where Visualfiles comes in, because the automation and the sort of robotics that get a lot of that going is really, really powerful. When you move it to Everyfile, I would describe the shift as being from workflowing to matter management, or task management. And that is the sort of the shift that we see. So where we have teams using that system, there may well still be templates and other things that we have to use, but they're not linked to a hard, fast workflow that you have to follow. They're linked then to individual tasks, which the partners and fee earners can choose to do when they need to do them. Now, if we need to, we can lean back into the functionality of Visualfiles to automate certain elements of that and bring it back into the Everyfile environment. So you keep them in this user experience, which is web-based, it's more flexible. Where we need to pull it into a more structured environment, we can kind of get it whizzed along in the Visualfile stuff and bring it back out again. So we've got it in the volume space, which is very, very structured in terms of data and workflows and templates, and then we bring it more into a task basis. Where we can't tie all the data points into the task yet, then we've still got some data screens at the end, but we minimize those as much as is humanly possible, because if we got rid of them entirely, you'd end up with a very rigid set of workflows. So we've got to what's going to make people engage with the system.